5 daily habits that will completely transform your life. Gratitude is not just a polite gesture of saying thank you when someone holds the door open for you. It is not only about sending a quick message of appreciation when someone does you a favor. Gratitude, in its truest form, is a way of living. It is the lens through which you choose to see the world every single day. And when you consciously begin your mornings with gratitude, you set the entire tone of your day, your thoughts, and even your actions. So often, we wake up and the first thing that comes to our mind is the list of problems waiting for us. Deadlines at work, responsibilities at home, bills that need to be paid, conversations we are avoiding, and challenges that feel too heavy to carry. The moment we open our eyes, our brain starts racing with worries. But what if, instead of starting your day with stress, you began with gratitude? What if, instead of focusing on what is missing, you focused on what is already present? That is where the transformation begins. Imagine this: you wake up in the morning, and before you even touch your phone or get out of bed, you take a deep breath and list 3 things you are grateful for. It could be as simple as the fact that you are alive, that your heart is still beating, and that you have another chance to live. It could be gratitude for your family, for a roof over your head, for the ability to see the sunlight entering your room, or even for the strength to get up despite the challenges you are carrying. Gratitude does not always have to be grand. It is found in the smallest of details. When you begin your day with gratitude, you immediately reframe your perspective. Suddenly, the problems you are dreading do not seem like insurmountable walls. They look more like stepping stones that you are capable of crossing. Gratitude softens the sharpness of life's struggles and fills your heart with enough hope to carry you through the toughest of times. Many people believe that happiness leads to gratitude, but the truth is the other way around. Gratitude leads to happiness. The more grateful you are, the more joy you feel. Think about it: the wealthiest person in the world, if they are not grateful, will always feel poor. On the other hand, someone with very little can feel rich if their heart is full of gratitude. Gratitude transforms scarcity into abundance because it teaches you to notice and celebrate what you already have, instead of constantly chasing what you don't. Science also supports this idea. Studies have shown that practicing gratitude lowers stress, improves sleep, and even strengthens relationships. People who regularly practice gratitude report higher levels of optimism and resilience. Why? Because when you constantly train your mind to notice what is good, your brain starts wiring itself to see more good around you. Gratitude becomes not just a practice, but a natural state of mind. But here's something important to understand: gratitude is not denial. It is not about pretending everything is perfect when it isn't. Gratitude does not erase pain, struggles, or loss. Instead, it allows you to hold pain in one hand and blessings in the other. It reminds you that even when life feels unbearably heavy, there are still reasons to keep moving forward. Gratitude does not mean ignoring the storm. It means recognizing that even in the storm, the rain nourishes the earth and the clouds eventually clear. Muniba Mazari often speaks about gratitude from a place of personal experience. After her accident, she could have focused on everything she had lost: her ability to walk, her physical independence, the dreams that suddenly felt shattered. And yet she chose gratitude. Gratitude for life itself, gratitude for a second chance to live differently, gratitude for the opportunity to inspire others by sharing her story. That is the power of gratitude. It gives you strength even in the moments where you feel weakest. To build a habit of gratitude, you don't need anything elaborate. You don't need a fancy journal or a long list of rituals. You just need intention. Start small. Each morning, ask yourself, what am I grateful for today? Write it down or simply whisper it to yourself. Over time, you will notice your mind automatically searching for more reasons to be thankful. You will catch yourself pausing in the middle of a busy day just to appreciate the smile of a stranger, the taste of your favorite food, the sound of your loved one's laughter, or the way the evening sky paints itself in shades of gold and purple. Gratitude also strengthens relationships. When you express gratitude to the people around you, you make them feel seen and valued. Something as simple as saying, "I appreciate you," can change someone's entire day. Gratitude has a ripple effect. It not only transforms you, but also touches the lives of everyone you interact with. Most importantly, gratitude gives you peace. In a world where comparison steals our joy and perfection is constantly demanded, gratitude gently reminds us that we are enough, and what we have is enough. It pulls us out of the endless cycle of wanting more and anchors us in the present moment. Gratitude whispers right here, right now, life is worth cherishing. One of the greatest battles many of us fight is not with the world outside, but with the voice inside our own heads. That inner critic, that constant whisper that tells you, "You're not enough, you're failing, you should have done better." We live in a world that already judges us, compares us, and criticizes us at every step. But often, the harshest words we ever hear come from ourselves. And this is why self-compassion is such a transformative habit, because it teaches you to be your own friend instead of your own enemy. Self-compassion begins with the simple recognition that you are human. To be human is to make mistakes, to stumble, to get tired, to fall short sometimes, yet, instead of embracing this truth, many of us demand perfection from ourselves. We punish ourselves for every misstep, replaying our mistakes in our minds over and over. But ask yourself, would you speak this way to someone you love? Would you constantly remind them of their failures, criticize them for every flaw, and deny them kindness? Of course not. Then why do we do this to ourselves? Practicing self-compassion means treating yourself with the same gentleness and patience that you would offer to a friend. It means replacing the voice of judgment with the voice of encouragement. Instead of saying, "I failed again, I am worthless," you learn to say, "I made a mistake and that's okay, I can try again tomorrow." Instead of saying, "I am weak," you learn to say, "I am growing stronger through this challenge." Words carry energy, and the words you speak to yourself have the power to either destroy you or build you. Muniba Mazari often reminds us that strength is not about pretending to be unshakable. It is about embracing your scars with pride. Self-compassion allows you to do exactly that. It teaches you to stop hiding your imperfections as though they make you unworthy, and instead to wear them as proof of your resilience. Every scar, every wound, every broken piece is evidence of survival. When you practice self-compassion, you stop seeing yourself as broken and start seeing yourself as becoming. This habit also frees you from the prison of comparison. How many times do we scroll through social media, comparing our messy reality with someone else's highlight reel? We criticize ourselves for not looking like them, not achieving like them, not living like them. But self-compassion whispers, "Your journey is unique. Your pace is your own. You are not behind, you are not less, you are simply you. And being you is more than enough." The beauty of self-compassion is that it does not make you weaker, it makes you stronger. Many fear that if they are kind to themselves, they will become lazy or complacent. But the truth is the opposite. When you are gentle with yourself, you build trust within. You create a safe space where growth can flourish. You no longer waste energy tearing yourself down, and instead you use that energy to rise higher. Practicing self-compassion can take many forms. Sometimes it is as simple as taking a break when you are exhausted, instead of forcing yourself to keep going. Sometimes it is allowing yourself to rest without guilt, reminding yourself that rest is not laziness. It is necessary for renewal. Other times, it is forgiving yourself for the mistakes of your past and understanding that those mistakes do not define you. You are not your failures, you are the lessons you learned from them. Another part of self-compassion is learning to listen to your needs. We are so used to ignoring ourselves in order to meet the expectations of others. We push through pain, silence our emotions, and sacrifice our well-being to please everyone around us. But true self-compassion says, "My needs matter too. My feelings are valid, I deserve care and kindness, not only from others but also from myself." When you honor your own needs, you reclaim your worth. One of the greatest gifts of self-compassion is that it teaches you to live in alignment with your humanity. You stop expecting perfection and start embracing progress. You begin to see mistakes not as proof of inadequacy, but as stepping stones toward wisdom. You learn to hold yourself with love, even on days when you feel unlovable. You learn to whisper to yourself, "I may not have it all figured out, but I am still worthy of kindness today." And perhaps most importantly, self-compassion makes you more compassionate toward others. When you stop being at war with yourself, you stop projecting that harshness onto the people around you. You begin to see others with softer eyes. Because you know what it feels like to struggle, you become less judgmental, less critical, and more understanding. Compassion within creates compassion without. Remember this, you do not need to earn your worth. You do not need to achieve perfection in order to deserve kindness. Your value is not measured by your success or your failures. It is measured by the simple fact that you exist. You are enough today, exactly as you are. Failure is a word that most of us fear. It carries the weight of disappointment, shame, and rejection. From childhood, we are taught to celebrate success and to hide failure. We proudly share our victories, but we whisper about our defeats. And yet, if you look closely, You will realize that some of the most powerful transformations in life do not come from success. They come from failure. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of the journey to success. Every person you admire, every leader, every innovator, every dreamer has walked through the valley of failure before they reached the mountain of achievement. Yet, we often forget this truth and see failure as an ending. But in reality, failure is not a period, it is a comma. It is not the final chapter, it is simply part of the story. When you fail, the first instinct is often to ask, why me? We see failure as a punishment, as proof that we are not good enough. But what if we started asking, what is this teaching me? That simple shift in perspective turns failure from an enemy into a mentor, because every failure carries a lesson that success could never teach you. Success can make you proud, but failure makes you humble. Success can make you comfortable, but failure makes you resilient. Success can make you celebrate, but failure makes you reflect. Think about a child learning to walk. They fall countless times before they take their first steps. And yet no one tells the child, you failed, stop trying. Instead, we cheer for every attempt, because we know that falling is part of learning. If failure is essential for a child to learn to walk, why do we treat it as unacceptable when we are adults? The truth is we never stop learning, and therefore, we should never stop failing. Muniba Mazari's life is itself a testimony to this. After her accident, many would have called her life a failure. Her dreams of becoming an artist seemed crushed. Her ability to live independently was taken away, and her body carried permanent scars. But instead of letting failure define her, she allowed it to refine her. She embraced the pain, the setbacks, the shattered pieces, and asked, what is this teaching me? And from that point, failure became her greatest teacher. It taught her resilience. It taught her empathy. It taught her the power of rising again. Without that failure, she would not have become the Iron Lady who inspires millions. Failure strips away illusions. It shows us who we truly are when comfort and ease are removed. It asks us, will you give up or will you rise? And every time you rise after failing, you become stronger than you were before. Failure does not weaken you, staying down does. Failure does not define you. What you do after failure does. One of the biggest reasons people fear failure is because of judgment. We worry about what others will say if we fall short. But remember, these people will always have opinions. Whether you fail or succeed, someone will always criticize. So why not fail boldly? Why not take risks knowing that failure is simply feedback, not the end? The truth is, those who never fail are usually the ones who never try. Playing safe may protect you from failure, but it also protects you from growth. Embracing failure as a teacher means letting go of shame. It means no longer hiding your mistakes, but owning them with courage. It means standing tall and saying, yes, I failed, but I am still learning, and I will try again. There is no shame in trying and failing. The real shame lies in not trying at all. Failure also brings clarity. Sometimes what feels like a failure is actually redirection. A closed door is not rejection, it is guidance toward a better path. How many times in life have you looked back at a so-called failure and realized it was a blessing in disguise? The job you didn't get, the relationship that didn't work out, the opportunity that slipped away, all of these might have been life's way of leading you to something greater. The Japanese have a beautiful concept called kintsugi, the art of repairing broken pottery with gold. Instead of hiding the cracks, they highlight them, turning the once broken object into something even more beautiful. This is what failure does when embraced with love. It highlights your cracks, your scars, your lessons, and turns them into gold. You are not less because you failed, you are more because you rose again. To cultivate this mindset, start by reframing failure in your daily life. When something doesn't go as planned, instead of saying, I failed, say, I learned. When you fall short, instead of labeling yourself a loser, remind yourself that you are a learner. Success is not about avoiding failure. It is about collecting failures and turning them into wisdom. The more you fail, the more you grow, and the more prepared you are for the victories that will eventually come. Failure also deepens your gratitude. When you finally achieve something after many attempts, the victory feels sweeter because you know the struggle behind it. Without failure, success would feel empty. Without night, we could not appreciate the light of dawn. Failure is not there to break you. It is there to prepare you for the sunrise that is waiting. Every morning, we are given a choice. Before the world places its demands on us, before the chaos of the day begins, before the voices of doubt and fear try to drown us, there is a moment when we can decide what lens we will use to see life. That choice is whether to look through the lens of negativity or the lens of positivity. And the truth is, positivity is not something that magically appears. It is something you choose consciously, deliberately every single day. Positivity is not about pretending everything is perfect when it isn't. It is not about ignoring pain, denying struggles, or forcing fake smiles when your heart feels heavy. Real positivity is deeper. It is the decision to find light even when the night feels endless. It is the courage to believe that tomorrow holds promise even if today feels overwhelming. It is the discipline of focusing on solutions instead of drowning in problems. The world can often feel heavy. We face rejection, loss, uncertainty, and pain. And negativity is always waiting, ready to creep in and take control. It whispers, "You can't do this. Nothing will change. Why even try?" If you allow that voice to lead you, your days become darker and your steps become slower. But positivity whispers something else. You are stronger than you think. This challenge is temporary. Keep going. You will make it. The voice you choose to listen to determines the quality of your life. Choosing positivity daily is like choosing fuel for your soul. Imagine waking up and immediately complaining about everything. The weather, the traffic, the workload, the people around you. By the time your day begins, your energy is already drained. Now imagine waking up and focusing on even one good thing. Your health, your family, your breath, the opportunity to try again today. That small shift doesn't erase challenges, but it strengthens you to face them with hope instead of despair. Muniba Mazari is often called the Iron Lady, not because she never felt pain, but because she chose to face her pain with positivity. After her accident, she could have chosen to dwell in bitterness, asking life, "Why me?" She could have allowed negativity to define her identity. But instead, she chose positivity. She chose to see her wheelchair not as a limitation, but as a reminder that she was still alive. She chose to see her scars not as shame, but as symbols of survival. She chose to smile even when life gave her countless reasons to cry. That is the essence of true positivity. Not the absence of suffering, but the refusal to let suffering steal your joy. Positivity is also a habit. Just like exercising builds your muscles, practicing positivity builds your resilience. At first, it may feel unnatural. You may feel resistance, especially when life is throwing obstacles in your path. But the more you practice, the stronger it becomes. Soon, you will notice that you naturally look for the good in situations. You naturally see opportunities where others see problems, and you naturally lift yourself up when negativity tries to drag you down. One way to cultivate positivity is through your words. The language you use shapes your reality. When you constantly say, "I can't, I'm unlucky, nothing ever works for me," you are feeding negativity. But when you say, "I will try, I am learning, better days are coming," you are feeding positivity. Your words create the atmosphere you live in, and that atmosphere becomes your reality. Speak life, not defeat. Another way to choose positivity daily is by the company you keep. Energy is contagious. If you surround yourself with people who constantly complain, criticize, and discourage, their negativity will drain you. But if you surround yourself with people who inspire, encourage, and uplift, their positivity will strengthen you. Protect your space. Choose to be around those who remind you of your strength, not those who make you doubt it. Positivity also comes from focusing on what you can control. So much of our stress comes from trying to change things beyond our power. But when you shift your focus to what you can influence, your actions, your attitude, your mindset, you reclaim your power. Positivity grows when you stop obsessing over the uncontrollable and start investing in the possible. And here is something important: positivity is a gift not only to yourself, but to the world around you. When you choose to smile, you remind someone else that hope still exists. When you encourage others, you plant seeds of courage in their hearts. When you remain calm in the face of chaos, you become a source of strength for those who are falling apart. Your positivity has a ripple effect. It spreads, multiplies, and transforms environments. Of course, choosing positivity daily does not mean you will never feel sad, angry, or frustrated. You are human.